Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. Today, we're going to talk about William Barr and his recent appearance on ABC News discussing the Jeffrey Epstein case, the Ghislaine Maxwell arrest, and what is going to happen from here. The article is from the New York Post. The headline, Barr says Jeffrey Epstein probe moves on with or without the Joe Exotic of the Windsor family, aka Prince Andrew. Author of the article, Yaron Steinbuch. Attorney General William Barr said the FBI definitely wants to interview Prince Andrew, aka the Joe Exotic of the Windsor family, about Jeffrey Epstein and his alleged fixer, co-conspirator, fellow child abuser, all-around general scumbag, Ghislaine Maxwell, but that the investigation involving the late pedophile will proceed even without the royals' cooperation, according to a report. And we know that that's the case. They want to talk to Andrew, not because he's a witness at this point, but because of what Virginia is accusing him of. The fact that Ghislaine Maxwell got slapped with that perjury charge is bad news for Joe Exotic of the Windsor family. Horrible news for him. Because that means the prosecutors, well, they believe what Virginia had to say in the defamation suit against Ghislaine Maxwell where all of this stuff came out. So the Joe Exotic of the Windsor family is not just a witness in this case. What the feds want to do is sit him down and talk to him about his involvement and hopefully dog walk him into a perjury charge. That's what they're looking for. Definitely, the Justice Department wants to talk to the Joe Exotic of the Windsor family. That's why the Southern District has been making efforts to communicate and to arrange an interview with him, Barr said in an interview with ABC News. And that's a pretty telling fact, right? So it wasn't just Berman who was trying to exert pressure on Prince Andrew. From what it looks like here, it was the whole entire Department of Justice that was on board with that strategy. So that's definitely an interesting takeaway here, because you don't see Barr attacking Berman for putting Andrew on blast in public, right? So it looks like that was a strategy from maybe the SDNY as a whole, or perhaps from the Justice Department. The department is communicating with him, and I made it clear that we'd like to interview him, he added. All right, so yeah, it's definitely the whole entire Justice Department that wants to speak with Andrew. It wasn't just Berman being a vigilante cowboy. So it looks like, again, from the outside looking in, remember, I am very skeptical of the federal government. I am very skeptical of William Darth Barr. But what it looks like from what we have here, the information that we have here, is that the whole entire Department of Justice was on board with that strategy. Federal prosecutors in the Big Apple have formally requested testimony from the Duke of York, aka the Prince of Toads, as part of the criminal probe into Epstein's alleged co-conspirators. Two sources familiar with the matter have told the outlet. And again, that's what they're going to say, right? Yeah, we just want to talk to him. He's a witness. We want to know what he knows. What did he see? Who was there? When did he see it? But in reality, what they want to do is sit him down and cross-examine him under oath to get him to lie. That way, they can charge him with perjury and have a reason to subpoena him, arrest him, indict him, you name it. Because without the interview with Prince Andrew, they're going to have a very tough time trying to prosecute this man if that's their strategy. Ex-Manhattan U.S. Attorney Geoffrey Berman last month criticized Andrew's failure to cooperate with investigators. If Joe Exotic is, in fact, serious about cooperating with the ongoing federal investigation, our doors remain open, and we await word of when we should expect him, said Berman, who stepped down after a standoff with the AG. Well, let's be clear, okay? He didn't step down. He was fired. Donald Trump stepped in and fired him. Let's just call it what it is, okay? Andrew's legal team insists that he has consistently offered to cooperate with the feds, saying last month in a statement that the prince had, on at least 3 occasions this year, offered assistance as a witness to the DOJ, according to ABC News. And we speculated at the time that the offer was an offer to give a statement in writing, and that certainly looks like the approach that they took. And the Justice Department doesn't seem like they're going to take the bait. It looks like they're countering with they want a full sit down, they want to talk to him, they want him in front of investigators, and they want him answering live questions. And I think that's the point where they're butting heads right now, and why you see the accusations flying both ways. A source told the outlet that the feds asked Andrew for his cooperation in early January, and his lawyers responded by opening discussions on how he would provide the testimony. They were left slack-jawed when Berman later announced that Andrew had offered zero cooperation, according to ABC News, which reported that Audrey Strauss, the acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, also has appealed for Andrew's testimony. Folks, look, this is more than just a testimony. You have some of the most powerful prosecutors in the United States calling for this, right? For the testimony. And you have the Attorney General of the United States who is calling for this now. The top lawman in America going on record saying they want to speak with the Joe Exotic of the Windsor family. That's significant. Considering he is not just a witness, folks, okay? That's what they're running, right? That's what that's going to be their narrative. But in reality, when you follow this case, you start to understand that the implications that pertain to the Joe Exotic of the Windsor family are much, much broader than just being a mere witness. A source close to Andrew told ABC News that his team has twice communicated with the DOJ in the last month, and to date, we have had no response. Well, you might have communicated, but what was the message? Is the message, I am only going to accept a written statement? Because that's not going to cut it. There's no middle ground here. He has no room to wiggle, right? The only thing saving Andrew at this point is his royal blood. If he was not a royal, I would not be surprised if this man was arrested at the same time that Ghislaine Maxwell was. Because, look, this is a man who has intricate knowledge of what went on. This is a man who was very friendly with Jeffrey Epstein, no matter his assertions otherwise, and we know how close he was to Ghislaine Maxwell. This guy is a very important piece of the puzzle, and he must speak with investigators. The Joe Exotic of the Windsor family is said to have been rattled by the recent arrest of Maxwell, Epstein's alleged procuress, co-conspirator, fellow child abuser, all-around scumbag, on charges that include alleged sex crimes in her London townhouse, where the prince has separately been accused by an Epstein survivor of sleeping with her when she was 17, the Mirror has reported. Look, I don't even think they're accusations at this point, right? Just follow the circumstantial evidence that we have, and the case is broad, vast, and damning. Can you imagine the treasure trove of information that the federal government has compiled? Can you imagine how damning the testimony from the survivors is going to be when she's up on the stand and they're staring her down in court? This lady is cooked, and if she doesn't start serving up names real soon, she is going to take the full brunt of this. Andrew has forcefully denied the allegations. It's unclear whether Maxwell will cooperate with prosecutors, but at least one lawyer who represents several of her accusers has suggested that Andrew could be implicated if she does. Well, I agree with that. I honestly agree with that, because all they have to do is talk to Virginia and listen to Virginia's account about what occurred, and there's no way that any right-thinking individual wouldn't want to sit down with Andrew and ask hard questions under oath. You see, the two-tier justice system is at work right here, folks. Right live for you to see. The way Andrew is getting basically off right now and not being forced into sitting down with the FBI is all because how he was born, because he won the genetic lottery. Attorney Gloria Allred, puke, gross, disgusting, said at a press conference Monday that the prince should speak with federal prosecutors in New York before Maxwell does. What does Allred even have to do with any of this? None of her, I mean, look, let's be real. Allred is nothing but an attention-seeking, money-grubbing, fame-chasing, build my own profile even more type of person. You really think she cares about these survivors? Of course she doesn't. I have no use for Gloria Allred or her daughter at all. Barr, meanwhile, told ABC News that he has asked those responsible for Maxwell's safety while locked up at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn to relay specifically the protocols they're following, and we have a number of redundancy systems to monitor the situation. Oh yeah, I'll believe that when I see it, Darth Barr. Your track record speaks for itself here, sir. We saw what happened to Jeffrey Epstein. We saw how pathetic that all was. What, you think people aren't going to question this time around her detention, if she's going to be safe, if you guys are following the right protocols, if everybody's on point? Of course those questions are going to come hot and heavy. So it's up to the Department of Justice, the Bureau of Corrections, and everybody else in between to make sure that Maxwell is ready to face her survivors at the trial. Epstein committed suicide, allegedly, in his Manhattan jail cell 11 months ago as he awaited trial on sex trafficking charges. I believe very strongly in that case, and I was very proud of the work done by the department, the Southern District, on that case, Barr told ABC News. Well, I am not that impressed yet. They've had all these years to make the case, and now they're finally starting to do their job. Well, I'll give them the credit for bringing in Maxwell. The buck doesn't stop there. Let's see the Core 4 get arrested, and let's see Jean-Luc Brunel get brought in as well, while we're here talking about convictions and what we're proud of. Because it's not just Ghislaine Maxwell and then that's the end of it. The implications are far, far, far more wide-reaching than just Ghislaine Maxwell. But I would not be shocked to see them use Ghislaine Maxwell as a scapegoat in a sense and have the whole entire thing die on the vine with her. Maybe get the Core 4 and Maxwell, and then they'll say, oh, well, the case is over. We brought in everybody responsible, and not even pay any attention to the other aspects of the case where the other evidence has led us, as far as intelligence operations, these people being assets. I have a funny feeling that those people, those types, are going to try and make it look like it was all Epstein and all Maxwell, and there was no network supporting them. That's what my gut tells me that the prosecution is going to try and feed us. Am I going to be right about that? Who knows? But as of right now, that's certainly the way it looks to me. And as you will recall, after he committed suicide, allegedly, I said that I was confident that we would continue to pursue this case vigorously and pursue anyone who's complicit in it, he added. And so I'm very happy that we were able to get Miss Maxwell. The former British socialite, co-conspirator, molester, all-around scuzzbag, is scheduled for a remote detention hearing on Tuesday. All right, folks, so we will get our first look at Ghislaine Maxwell behind bars on Tuesday during this remote detention hearing. Now, there's going to be limited access inside of the courtroom, I guess up to 60 people, but you'll be able to watch it as well via video broadcast. Now, I'm not too sure if that's for the public at large or just journalists, but I'll get some confirmation on that, and I will update you later on the Daily Drop as in regards to that. All right, everybody. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at Bobbycapucci at protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI and all of the links that pertain to the podcast you will be able to find within the description box. All right, everybody, until later on.